Finance Minister Enoch Godongwana has described the COVID crisis as one like no other, but he says the country is showing resilience through the unforgiving storm, boosted by a surge in global demand for our commodities, which has resulted in SARS raking in an unexpected tax windfall of 120 billion rand so far this year. The local economy is expected to bounce back from the COVID-19-induced contraction of 6.4% last year to 5.1% this year, before slowing down to 1.7% next year. The uncertainty around the speed and the durability of economic recovery come from the continued structural constraints, amongst them Eskom's inability to supply constant and affordable electricity. Another risk is the slow take-up of COVID-19 vaccines, meaning further waves of infections could pose risks to communities and economic activity. To boost growth, government promises to continue on its quest to put government finances on a sustainable path and to speed up economic reforms.
These reforms should focus on improving competitiveness, productivity, investment and employment. Our first and immediate task in this regard must be to ensure stable energy supply, reduce the risk of load shedding, and accelerate the transition to renewable energy sources.
Another concern is the high government debt and associated service costs. Government debt is currently at 70% of GDP and is expected to grow to 78% in 3 years' time. This translates to 4 trillion of debt, with interest payments running at about 270 billion rand annually. This is more than health and police service budgets. Out of every rand of revenue, 21 cents goes to servicing debt, taking up money that could be going towards improving service delivery.
That's where we have a number of factors that might derail. One is the wage agreement with the public sector employees. That's a big risk. There is no agreement for that. Secondly, if we just look in terms of what is expected around grants, the social relief that is expected to be extended. The current one, it ends in March 2022.
Experts believe Godongwana's speech may have bought South Africa some time, as rating agencies are due to review South Africa this month.
We don't expect the credit rating agencies to give us a downgrade when they meet in November this year. In fact, we expect to see our credit ratings remain on hold for a while. Of course, much will depend on the 2021 budget next year. The reality of the situation, however, is that while there has been some improvement in the ratio, certainly, and even a slight improvement in the rand value of debt, debt nevertheless still continues to rise quite substantially.
Government says it will not introduce any new long-term spending commitments, and it will not be providing any additional funding to struggling state-owned companies over the next 3 years. Gloria Sefakomosi, SABC News, Parliament.